So yeah, here we are, the Armageddon and Destroying regiments. Yeah, a bit of background fluff. It's nice. One thing I should definitely mention with the Armageddon and Destroying regiments is we have a full page dedicated to a lot of these regiments now. In the old codex, it was a paragraph, and unfortunately, it still is the case for some regiments. But yeah, a lot of regiments have been fleshed out. So in the old codex, it was just Cadians and Kachans that got a big section dedicated to them. But now it seems like most regiments have got a full page dedicated to them, which is very nice. So sort of the first part talks about how, generic Armageddon sort of fluff. Pardon me, and then the second part talks about how things have changed for them, and essentially around Hive Acheron, there's just a never-ending battle, and the Guardsmen are doing pretty well though. From what we've been told, Guard are not losing the battle. That's one thing for sure. Coming on to Destroyers, talks about their ancient shame, their debt, how they have to give the firstborn of everybody to the Guard, the Tetrarchy. An interesting one, talking about the Great Rift. Essentially, the Destroyers still have to fulfill their debt. One way or another, they've got to fulfill that debt. So they're still raising regiments of the firstborn, and they're sending them out into the warp to try and reinforce other planets nearby and other systems nearby. But the problem is that they don't have the light of the Astronomicon anymore. So the majority of the regiments they send out either never make it because they're just devoured by the demons in the warp, or they just don't arrive where they're meant to arrive, and they're sort of a bit of a waste of time. They might arrive at a perfectly defended place. They might just arrive out in just null space where there's basically nothing for light years in every direction, kind of thing. So the Destroyers are still raising and fighting, and they've done quite well, and they've been able to fight off things on their own planet, but they're kind of throwing men down the shitter for honour's sake, which is a bit of a shame. But still badass. I think they've done this so that you can sort of justify your Restorians fighting sort of anywhere in the Imperium, because you never know where their regiments are going to end up. Which is it's a nice little plot point there. Valhallans, of course. Nothing too fancy here. Cold Bloods there. Was a temperate paradise. Thing went tits up when the orcs arrived. Apparently, Valhallans deployed on the dark side of the Imperium have fared better than many of the Imperial forces. Valhallans basically what it says is, with long-range communication silenced, the lumbering military machine of the Astra Militarum sort of ground to a halt, and infantry platoons marched hopelessly into war zones without armoured support, and companies scouting plans and were obliterated by the old bombardments of Allied fleets who were unaware of the ground presence. The Valhallans just hunkered down wherever they were stationed and followed the last orders that had come crackling over the comm links before all went quiet. So essentially, they're not dicking around. If their last orders were, in a very vague sense, secure the sector, then that's just what they carry on doing. They're just doing as business as usual for the Valhallans, so fair enough. Talons, interestingly, the Talons, blah blah blah, normal bit of fluff, absolutely fine. They have done very well, the Talons. Apparently what's happened is they are fighting alongside Guilliman's Indomitus Crusade. They're doing very well, the Talons. If you're a Talon player, then you are on the good side of things, is all I can say. So, well done you. Yeah, so this is more what we expect when it comes to Imperial Guard background fluff. Interestingly here, they give a good piece on the Armageddon Orc Hunters. They've got some other sort of made-up regiments now. The Anthonian Tunnel Rats, miasman, red cowls. I'm a bit bitter here. The Mordian Iron Guard, one of the founding great regiments, is we don't get a full page. Apparently, we're not good enough for a full page. We just get a paragraph. So that's a bit of a shame. But interesting bit of fluff. When the Thousand Suns swept into the, I can't pronounce this, Stygia sector, the invasion was preceded by massive cultist uprisings, but the Iron Guards used pinpoint shelling and ordered advances to herd the heretics towards the far side of the planet, where they burned in the blazing heat of the tidally locked sun. With the worst of the uprising quashed, the Mordians steeled themselves to the next chaos wave. So, officially, Mordian is not lost. Apparently, the big rule book was a bit vague, but Mordian is not lost. So I may have to come up with some new fluff for my Mordian 50th rifles, but at the end of the day, Mordian is not lost. They are hunkered down, defending it, which is good. Bit of stuff for the Tanith First and Only fans out there. I've got a few commenters who have been asking me about the Tanith First and Only. Here you go. If I recommend you pause the video now and take a little look at that bit of fluff. There you go. Nice new bit of artwork for them as well. That's a pretty gritty looking, very gritty looking Tanith rifleman there. And then of course one of my favourite regiments, the Savlar Chem Dogs. I always used to call them Salvar, but it's Savlar Chem Dogs. Yeah, they've got a nice bit now. And even Games Workshop tells you how to build some. I mean, you have to use basically Genestealer occult parts, but there you go. Some more regiments here. Ventrilian Nobles, Indignian Prefects, Mordant Acid Dogs, Mordant, very old regiment. In the Lucky 13s were a unique regiment back in the day, and a couple of other ones which have sort of been made up for this thing. These guys look cool. Vresh Grenadiers, I really like. They're kind of Cadian but not. Really like that. Yeah. So here we are, basically the timeline of the Imperial Guard, starting with the Age of Rebirth all the way through to the time of ending. Third War from Armageddon, Warzone, Damocles, Bloody Tau. Bloody hate Tau. Yeah, 13th Black Crusade, big battles, lots and lots of detail, Dark Age of the Imperium. Yeah. Yeah, lots of good stuff here. If you guys want to read this, I recommend you sort of pause the video, take a look at the different bits. Yeah, classic artwork. Battle of, I always say Toruk Fields, I hope that's right. It's one of my favourite bits here. That for years I never realised it's a Cadian white shield pushing the banner forward, and no matter how many men die, the banner will not fall. Very, very cool. And of course, it would not be guard artwork without masses of dead guardsmen. There's one dude who's just been taken out in the background. There's a few dead guys here. It isn't proper guard artwork if you haven't got lots of dead guardsmen in it. Here we go. Now we're getting on to unit fluff. So talking about company commanders, command squads, tank commanders, all fairly standard fluff. One of my, I think I will say my new favourite piece of artwork from this new codex. I think this is a unique piece. It does remind me of one from the 3rd edition codex, but very cool. Talking about platoon commanders. The rare and mythical platoon commander that no one ever uses anymore because company commanders are just so much better. Infantry squads, conscripts, again, dead guardsmen. Although I think this is a great piece of artwork. This is heavy weapon squads, special weapon squads, just getting a little paragraph. Again, just some more classic artwork here. This is this veteran Picture has been used for the last 3 codexes, including this one, 5th edition, 6th edition, and 8th edition. Because remember, we didn't get a codex in 7th edition. Not bitter at all about that. Chimeras, standard artwork for that, nothing too fancy. I wonder if, I haven't checked this, I bet they've taken out the, oh no, yes, it's amphibious. So they still mention the fact it's amphibious, despite the fact I think it no longer has that rule in the codex. Taurox is here. Tauroxes aren't too bad now. Taurox primes, very good. Sentinels, of course. Camera refocus, please. Some good Sentinel stuff there. One of the best bits of advice you'll ever read. I'd recommend you pause and read that bit of advice from Lord Solar Macarius. He knows what he's talking about. Hellhounds, very nice. Hellhounds get a couple of paragraphs, and so do Devil Dogs and Bane Wolves, all crammed onto one page, but not too bad. Same for Basilisk and Wyverns. No additional fluff added here. Read this at your own leisure. Hydras. Get a surprising amount of fluff, to be honest. But I think it is almost just lifted from the last codex, to be honest. Yeah, interesting new bit of artwork. I mean, I don't remember seeing this anywhere else, so I mean, I'm not complaining. It's very interesting. It stands out. It's a fairly unique style. It stands out from the rest of the artwork. It's sort of similar style to, forgive me 1 second, similar style to this. A bit grittier, a bit rougher. So yeah, there you go. Oh no, one more. Lots and lots of good fluff on Manticores here. Lots and lots of stuff. Death Strikes. Again, just talking about how they are not easy weapons to use. And then, of course, the best section, the Leman Russ. They have continued the general. There's only a bit of general fluff about the Leman Russ. You know, it's manifestation of Imperial might. I like how they've given like every tank a decent paragraph now. Before you got a couple of lines. They have slowly, Codex 1 Codex, expanded the section bit by bit. So now everyone gets a couple of paragraphs. Really, really nice. I just want to say, guys, that, you know, if you are watching this video to get an idea of the Codex, I still highly recommend you go out and buy the Codex. It is an absolute treat. The quality of the Codex is very, very high. And, you know, this is just to give you guys an idea of what is in the Codex. I do highly recommend you go out there and buy it yourself, because it is worth it. It's worth every penny. You know, you're paying the same amount as a codex from the last edition, but you're getting so much more artwork, so much more detail, very high quality. I just want to say that because I don't want people just using this video just, oh, I don't need to buy the codex, I'll just watch Mordian Glory's video. No, I do want you guys to go out and buy the codex. It is worth it, and it's a good. You're a good Warhammer player if you have your codex. It's very frustrating when you're playing someone who hasn't got a proper codex. You will make mistakes. But anyway, back to the fluff. Lots of super heavy fluff here. And then another really bit I really like. They've done the same thing as they did for the Lean Rust. They've done it with the other super heavies here, and every super heavy has its own little bit of fluff now, and a nice side on diagonal picture. I really like these cross section sort of images. I really like them. Then we start getting into sort of special characters. So yeah, here we are, special characters now. Castellan Creed and Colour Sergeant Kel. It mentions here officially, spoiler alert, that Kel does die. I believe he still is an option in the Codex if you're sort of playing previous, you know, if you're playing in a previous millennium, something like maybe the 30, sort of 39th rather than whatever we're in now, 40, where, you know, we're playing an older sort of time, but Kel is no longer in, he is dead officially, and Lord Castellan Creed has been officially sort of MIA'd. Knight Commander Pask explains where he was during the 13th Crusade. Colonel Ironhand Strachan, Gunnery Sergeant Harker. We've also got the Ministorum Priests. It explains why Crusaders are in the Guard book now, which is an interesting choice. Not going to complain. It's nice to have some 3+ invulnerable save dudes in your army, and the fact that they can be given a 2+ save relatively easily is nice. Servants of the Omnissiah, Tech Representatives, Servitors. Bit more Militarum Tempestus fluff. We haven't seen much of it up until this point. We've had those couple of paragraphs. We've got a full page dedicated to them now, which is nice for you Tempestus players. I mean, still, it's not like having a full codex yourself like you used to have, but it was like a 6-page codex, something crazy, wasn't it? Valkyries, of course. Not bad. Commissars, excellent. Nothing too new here. If anything, the Commissar section has been stripped down slightly. Lovely. One of the first sort of short stories we've actually seen. There used to be quite a few of these short stories in codexes gone by. Now they seem relatively few and far between. This is the one about a commissar maybe taking his orders slightly too literally, but anyway, Commissar Yarrick, of course, he's still alive. Ogryns, yeah, I mean, Ogryns have essentially got 2 full pages if you include stuff for Nork. Can't really complain about that. They definitely feel like they've been expanded. New bit of artwork for them. Yeah, another short story. Seems to be throwing them at us now. Rattlings. Yeah, nice. Talking about how a single squad of Rattlings held off against a lot of Tau, which is funny. This is the same story. It's about the Iron Warriors and the Mordians. Same story from the last codex. Primaire Psychers with one of my favourite bits of artwork. Word Veins, this is the same story from the last codex, still pretty cool. And they have a picture now. I think this is the first time that Word Veins have had a proper decent colour picture in any Imperial Guard Codex, and it is quite a good one as well. I quite like it. I will admit there's some dead Gene Stealer cultists down here. Regimental Advisors. Good old picture here, Vestroyans marching off. I love that tank commander who's like raising a fist like, yeah! And you've got some Gargants in the background. Very cool, very nice. Smashing through this section now. The standard artwork. I think this is a new bit of diorama, which is good. This is all relatively standard procedure. Cadian 8, some advisors. Extra bits, just some nice artwork here. That's from the Damocles Gulf Crusade. Actually, surprisingly, we don't know why, that conscript is a really cool looking conscript. I like that. Some Catachan stuff. Fairly standard. These are sort of the new, they're all sort of new Catachans, newly painted ones. I think that's one of the old snipers, but I think that's from a really old book with when Kill Team's first introduced, but the rest are relatively new. The new paint job of the Catachans. Talon, very nice. Valhallans, very nice. I think that gunner in the background is painted. It just doesn't look it, but if you look closer now, it's more clear in this one than it was on the reveal. And again, a good new look at this new Cadian black and white colour scheme. I really like that colour scheme, guys. Really like it. That would be really cool if someone actually painted an army up like that. I mean, if I was a new Guard player, that would be the colour scheme for me to go for. Absolutely. So, if I wasn't so heavily invested in what I've already done. Yeah. Some more Militarum Tempestuous. Very nice. I mean, again, look at that. That is the new Cadian colour scheme they are pushing, and I love it because that is a reference to the old City Fight Codex with the red shoulder pads and stuff. Absolutely fantastic. Yes, really, really fantastic. That is an amazing colour scheme. Coming up here, we've got some other relatively unique ones. Yeah, we've sort of seen this one before, haven't we? Seen these ones before. These are kind of cool. Yeah, a full platoon of the Ventrilian nobles. I believe these are made with the old Empire Outrider and Pistolier hats, guys, if that's where you're wondering where to get them from. So it's just fairly standard Cadian bodies and all that stuff, but the heads are from the Warhammer Fantasy Empire bits, and this is the Warhammer Fantasy Canon carriage, although there are third-party companies that make similar things to that. Anvil Industries being one of them, make very good wheeled carriages. Check them out. Final bits of artwork, bit of Astroyans, can't go wrong. Bit more Cadians, that's Start Collecting set, and that's a big army, the Claw of Cadia. You guys read that in your own time. And that's it. That's all the artwork, guys. That's the fluff section done. And that'll be this video done for now. I mean, I'm a bit disappointed because there's relatively, if we go back through, I mean, you've got like, what, one painted guardsman for some of the alternative regiments. It's a bit of a shame. But I will, there's a lot more artwork, painted models for other regiments. But I will accept my lot in life in this regard because that is an absolutely banging colour scheme. Absolutely fantastic. That makes me want to completely repaint my army in those colours. It would take a lot of time, but I am very, very tempted to do that. And we've been talking about repainting them. Oh, that would be interesting. Anyway, back to here. So we'll finish this part of the video for now. Hope you guys have enjoyed this sort of fluff overview of the new Astra Militarum Imperial Guard 8th edition Codex. I'm really, really excited, and I hope you guys will tune in for the next part, which will be going through the rules section of the Codex, see if anything's changed much.